guest, top fighting game player and reject pro gamer, Tokido-san. Let's go.
では早速ですね、ステージ前の皆さん、そして配信もご覧になっている方いらっしゃいますので、ご挨拶をお願いします。
We got a lot of people watching us here, so let's do first rounds of introductions. I am Yamada. I am the producer for the new Virtua Fighter project. Usually I have glasses on, but I actually forgot my glasses today. So you might not recognize me, but it's definitely me, Yamada. And next we have Takeda-san. Hi there, I'm the battle director, Takeda. I'd like to introduce myself very briefly, because people are curious about who I am.
Okay.
I've been at Sega for many years. When I was originally there, I was in the sound section when I joined the company. And that's about 25 years ago. And when we were building Virtua Fighter 4 at AM2, I wanted to build Virtua Fighter myself, so I joined the Virtua Fighter team at that time. And that's actually how I've connected to the Virtua Fighter team historically. And now I'm working on programming, and I worked on Virtua Fighter 4 and 5 as a programmer. Nice to meet you all.
Sure, quick.
Next we have Tokido-san. I'm sure you have some expectations for the stage today. Hi everybody, I'm Tokido. Great to meet you. And I think you'll know that I've been a 2D fighting game player for many years. But originally, Virtua Fighter 2 was one of the games that got me into fighting games back in elementary school. And so it's a true honor to be on the stage here today to talk about Virtua Fighter. So generation-wise, you're the Virtua Fighter generation, right? Yes, actually. When I was in the game centers when I was younger, yeah, I was definitely playing Virtua Fighter there. I was using
Hey, live translate gotta be hard.
Characters as well. I'm sure you're looking forward to the new information we'll have on the stage today. So we're going to go into the battle scenes, talk about that. So I think we have a lot of people anticipating that. So can we hear a little bit more about your involvement or your experience with the Virtua Fighter series in the past? Give us a little bit more details on that. Actually, the impetus for me to get into fighting games so much was Virtua Fighter, actually. And I played that just kind of lightly, but I was playing against the CPU. And then when I went back to my hometown, and then there was an offer to play some Virtua Fighter with a friend. And I was really surprised that there's people that are dedicated to playing fighting games. And that was the first opportunity to see that was actually with Virtua Fighter at the time. And then the next time I met up with him, I wanted to challenge him. And that was about a half year later. So I practiced really hard. And then I wanted to take him out. And that's where everything started. Yeah. And now hearing about a totally new installment in the series, I'm very much looking forward to that. I was watching Tokido's YouTube, and he was talking about you're 10 years early, so I thought that was kind of interesting. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about that on the stage today. So I think Tokido-san's really excited about today. So we definitely like to hear the viewpoint from a pro gamer on the title. And we'd also like to get into the details of the battle system with Tokido-san here today.
Okay.
All right, first let's hear about the current status of the new Virtua Fighter project from the development team. Let's ask Yamada-san. Game development is always very difficult, but with this game, we have got a lot of experienced people on the team, and we're trying to make something that's really top class. There's a lot of different challenges that we're facing at the moment, but the team is really motivated to make something that's very high quality. And that really helps me, but it is a pretty stressful situation, and there's a lot of things that we have to do, but I'm very thankful to the team that they're still motivated and they're keeping their motivation up to take this challenge on. I feel like there's got to be at least like 10 years of thought and emotions involved in this title. And myself, speaking for myself, Yamada-san, I wasn't making Virtua Fighter for the entire time, but there are a lot of thoughts that are stacked up in the team that they want to express with this new game. Yeah, there's a lot of things that happen with game development, and I think it can be very stressful. So what was the reaction to the combat gameplay first look that was announced at EVO Las Vegas in August of this year? So we got a big reaction to that, and I'm really glad that we were able to make it. And everything from the overseas players in particular was very strong. And then previously with the Virtua Fighter series, the classic installments, it was very arcade focused. So definitely the Japanese audience is more rooted in the arcades. So there's a lot of Japanese users playing Virtua Fighter, but with this combat gameplay first look trailer, it really reached a lot of players overseas, and we were happy to see so many comments coming in from there. And also, one of the things I want to say from Yamada-san's perspective is that the PS2 installment of Virtua Fighter sold really, really well worldwide. So I, at the time, had the impression that it was really a worldwide IP. And myself, speaking Tokido-san, and then when I was playing tournaments overseas for Virtua Fighter, at the time, there were a lot of players that wanted to just basically go win that tournament money in the Virtua Fighter tournaments that were being held overseas. But I was surprised that there were dedicated players for those tournaments. I think there's a fan base that does like Virtua Fighter overseas, so it was gratifying to see the reactions coming in from them. So information about the new Virtua Fighter is gradually coming to light. Tokido-san, could you share your honest first impressions of the new Virtua Fighter? The first footage was very shocking to me. And seeing Akira's drastically changed appearance really made me curious about what happened to him up until that point. If I could talk a little bit more, the battle footage is kind of packed with intriguing details. Like we can see the camera switching back and forth, and also the new battle video that we saw at EVO. It was really interesting to see the evolution from the concept video, and we can see that the development team is very focused on creating something new. I feel that as well. When we were making the concept video, we weren't actually planning to reveal it or bring it to the broader world. So as we were making it, that plan was decided internally. But when we thought about actually how we have to bring that into gameplay, there was a lot to think about and a lot to go through in terms of the battle system. And we had to do some trial and error, but I think with that video we've shown the package that has resulted from those considerations. Right, so I'm sure many of the people gathered here are looking forward to hearing more details about the battle video. I'll stick to hosting duties, so I'll leave the deep dive into the battle to everyone on stage here. Now,
は
Takedo-san,
い、ニューバーチャファイタープロジェクトバトルの解説の前に
before we get into the new
皆さんに
Virtua
お伝え
Fighter
したい
project battle
前提とな
commentary,
る
there's some
お話が
baseline
あるんです
information
ね
you'd like to share with everyone,
は
right?
い。じゃあスライド出ますでしょうか。
So can we take a look at the slides here?
はい、そうですね。バトルの詳しいシステムの解説
So
の前
this is
に
about
ちょっ
the
と
battle
バトルルール
system.
について、今回話したいと思います。
So I want to talk about the battle
バトルルール
systems.
二つ今回考えていまして、
This title offers
一つが
two battle
スタン
modes.
ダードですね。
One is the standard battle mode, which we'll introduce shortly.
まあ体力を全て奪うか、
You have to deplete your opponent's life gauge or get a ring out to win the round.
ルールです。今回もう一個考えているのがアップライジングっていう
And the other is a completely new battle mode
こちらの
called
スタンダードとは全
Uprising.
く違う
This is a new battle rule set entirely distinct from standard. Its core concept is momentum shifting. It's not a mere extra mode, but intended to stand alongside the standard mode.
衝撃的なお話ありましたが
Wow,
山田さん
that's quite a shocking announcement right off the bat. Tokido-san, what do you think?
ですよね。
ねえ
やっぱり今までのバーチャ
Well,
ファイター
this is surprising.
スタンダードで硬派な
はい
They're preparing battles that could overturn everything we know about Virtua Fighter.
これまでのバーチャを覆す
you
よ
know,
うな
I-
ルールも
I think there's some elements here that are really going to like overturn those core classic Virtua Fighter elements.
やっぱりバトル格闘技のバトルルールってやっぱすごくこう歴史があってもうこれは
There's a lot of history to fighting game battle rules,
というふうに思ってるんですよね。
and
でその中でもやっぱり新しいものっていうのを
I'd like to make
トラ
something
イしないと
new within
まあな
that.
んかその面白いゲームとしての面白さみたいなところ
We want to pursue the fun in the gameplay,
なと思ってバトルルールを違うものを用意したい
so that's why we decided to make some different battle rule modes here.
はいまあこれちょっと細かくはまだちょっと言えないんですけど
We can't reveal the details just yet,
これで確実面白いなってなってから
but once we're sure that it's really fun, then we'll talk about it more.
試さないといけないんでね
はい、いろいろ試してます。はい。
皆さんね
We're doing some R&D on it right now.
見たいですよね
I can't wait to see more on these battle modes.
スタンダード今回はスタンダードですねでまず見ていただきたい映像があると聞きました山田さん
But before that, Yamada-san told me that he wanted to go back to the first look.
もう動画で公開されてるんですけども、この間、
So this video is already out there,
バトルプレイのファーストルック。まあ、
but
これは実機から
let's take another look through that combat gameplay first look video that we released at
ご
Evo.
覧いただいてからまあ、質問に答えるという形でね。
Let's take a look at that before we get to any
じゃあ
questions.
映像の方よろしくお願いします。
お願いします
Can we show the video?
Got a weed for smooth. The sound effects sound crispy too. Ooh, piecing them up. Dang.
いやーご覧いただきましたがめちゃくちゃかっこいいですね
Well, we took a look. That's incredibly stylish and cool
で
footage.
したけど時戸さん改め
What
て
aspects stood out to you,
ご覧になってどうですか
Tokido-san?
やっぱこれぞバーチャファイターだなっていう
This is really Virtua Fighter. That's how I felt about it.
やっぱりその途中で演出が入ったりとか
There's different animations that we see coming in.
あなっちゃったりだとか
You can see Akira getting finished at the end of the round.
これは新鮮でしたよね
It was very fresh for me.
いかがでしたか
はい。ではそうですね。はい。じゃあ私がバトルについて。
Okay, let me talk a little bit about the battle,
いただきます
the battle system in detail.
はい。じゃあそうですね。スローで開始したいと思います。
Let's play the footage back for you in slow motion.
はいいろいろ質問もしていただければと思います。
はい
はい、よろしくお願いいたします。
はい
じゃあ行きましょうか。はい。
はい。じゃあ。
All right, let's take a look.
じゃあこれ僕が途中で止めていいんですよね
So I'm going to stop the video when I want to ask you a question. Is that okay?
スローで
Going in slow motion.
まあゆっくり見ていただいて
Let's take a look at it in a very slow manner.
どうぞどうぞ。
はい
こ。のまず最初の
Okay,
これは
first,
ステージ
Look at this
トレーニング
stage.
ステージだと思うんですが、まあこんなかっこいいトレーニン
This
グ
is
ステージ
this is a training stage,
は今までの
correct?
格闘ゲームにないと思う
I don't think I've seen a training stage this cool in fighting game history. So I feel like you guys are putting a lot of attention to that.
ファイターはこうリングアウトだったり。
So Virtua Fighter in the classic style has ring outs, etc.
まあ、表現したいというか
And we wanted to express that in a training
み
stage.
たいなイメージでこの
なるほど。
床がせり上がってる
And that's why you can see the floor coming up, like morphing in the video.
狭いとか広いとか壁があるとか
And in Virtua Fighter, you remember like walls and all these different elements that come in on the stages.
今回の設定ではこんな感じのステージ用意しようって言って、
But
まあトレーニング
with this installment, we wanted to show you everything in the training mode in terms of how the stages could potentially
気
evolve.
になりますよね。
そうっすね。まあ
So there's elements of the stage that get me very interested.
まあギミックだけじゃなくて、まあステージ
With Virtua Fighter stages, it's not just gimmicks.
まあそういう地形の部分で、
There's also like the landscape of the stage.
かかったシリーズもありますからね。
Yeah, and then there was like differences in height in certain, stages previously.
じゃあ行きましょうか。
はいじゃあ、はい
All right, let's move on to the next point here.
まあ色もねこれ誰なんだとか結構質問がね。
I think we get a lot of questions about who this character is.
もうちょっと面白いですね。まあ
This is where it gets interesting.
ゆっくり見るのもなかなかないんで。
I don't really have the chance to look at it in slow motion. Oh,
あどうぞ
got a question.
はい
はいこうです
このヘッドスプリングって置き方は
So this head spring sort of movement,
これでもう明らかにクローズアップ
it looks like there's a close-up happening here.
ここをちょっと説明
Can you tell me a little bit about this?
あのステラの方が、
So Stella's
受け身攻めをしてるんですけど
is trying to attack the downed opponent.
回し蹴りで、
And then it looks like
ネックスプリングで
Akira is springing up to avoid that
なの
kick,
でこういった形
to
で
avoid the roundhouse.
攻め側をかわすようなシステム
So you can see that there's a system in there to avoid the attacks. And that is, being conscious of offense and defensive opportunities when downed opponents are getting up.
スタイリッシュな感じでまあ
We're trying to provide a stylish, action-oriented element here.
こういう演出がこれだけじゃなくてまだまだ
So it's not just animations like this. There's going to be other animations for the other characters, etc. Yes, absolutely.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you so much.
続けていきましょうか。
Let's keep going.
これ
Okay, this question here.
もう完璧に
はい
こうじゃないですか。
That weed, boy.
So there's some sway happening here.
このそうですねここも同じ
How are they managing to do this?
ちょっとスローかかってるんですけど
There's a slow motion effect happening here.
上段を一点読みしてかわした時に
So this is when you read your opponent's move and you're dodging the attack.
パンチ取れるんですけど
You can also catch the punch.
はい今回実装してみました
And this is how we implemented it, like with the dodge approach here.
Okay.
実際の格闘技でもまあギリギリ見
In real fighting in real life, there's moments where you dodge something and then you counterattack immediately
ゲ
afterwards.
ーム的に組み込みたい。
We wanted to put that into the game here with this new
最近は
installment.
井上尚弥の選手のボクシングの試合とかもありました。
So I've been to some boxing matches recently,
相手の距離感を測って
and you kind of measure the range to the opponent's attacks, and then you use that to dodge and then counterattack from there.
出しつつ
So we wanted to have that flavor here in
Oh.
the battle,
なんかこだわってくる。
and that's something we're focusing
Twin,
on.
what? I don't know how to say that name. I ain't gonna lie to you. Appreciate the follow.
But there'll probably be adjustments made to it
That
as we go
scared me,
forward.
Loki.
それをちゃんとこういうリアリティがある
But we want something that has a realistic approach to it, but that's also built into gameplay that's fun.
よりリアリティが増してますよね。
So there's definitely some realistic elements that's included here. So you can see the dodge that
やっ
happens,
ぱ実際の格闘技って、
and in real fighting, you dodge, and then you make a move from there.
たりとかってことあると思うんでそれをうまくゲームに落としたい
So we would definitely want to include that in the gameplay and make that a core element of the gameplay system going forward.
リアリティがあってかっこいいですね。
I think it's really awesome with the reality. It's very cool looking.
はい、じゃあ次
Okay.
All right, let's go on to the next point here.
これとかちょっと今いいですか。
Now, let me ask about this.
はい、今ちょっと戻していただいて、
Just rewind a little
これ
bit.
でばっかりで
いやいやいや
進まないかもしれないですけど。
もうちょっとかな
もうちょっとね、
A little bit
二回目のフィニッシュのあたりですかね
Okay,
この直前、もうちょっと前
just a little bit further.
前に
ここからちょっとゆっくり行きましょうか
Let's go a little bit slower.
で、
かわした後で止めましょうか
こっからこ
Right here.
避けましたもんね
今の
はい
はいそうですね
避け方、
So the dodging here,
なんか従来のバーチャファイターに比べて異様にリアリティがある。
compared to classic Virtua Fighter, seems to have more realism.
かわすみたいな。
It looks like he's actively dodging or crouching there.
本当にリアルな格闘技でかわす時もやっぱり直前で
In real fighting, you actually have to like dodge the opponent's kick and crouch very low to do that. So we wanted to place emphasis on the reality here and added that into the crouch with more realism.
まあこれもでも防御システムの一環の
This is one part of the defensive system.
まあそういう自然と相手の攻撃に対して
And when the opponent comes into attack, we want to have like a realistic reaction to that, including the crouching that you're seeing here.
まあスムーズにやってる中でこういうリアリティがある
We want to have like a smooth approach there, but also very realistic.
こういう行動ができたらリターンがあるみたいな感じで考えて
And if we could take that action and then have like a return or a merit that the defender gets from it, that would be great as well.
しゃがみもやっぱりリアルにしたいんですよね。
Yeah, so even the crouching, we want to make it like realistic crouching.
まあちょっとそこもどうなのってちょっと思うので。
相手の技によってもやっぱり
So depending on the attack that's coming in from the opponent, like, you know, maybe you just have to crouch a little bit or maybe you have to crouch very low.
本当はしゃがまないです
But actually in real fighting, of course, people don't really crouch that much. But in the game,
いけない部分だけど
that portion, you know, that part is a fun game element.
でもちゃんとまあ下段を守ってるだって分かるモーションしながら
So you want to have like an animation in there that shows that you're protecting from low attacks.
違う感じになってる
So that's how we wound up with this crouching animation that you see here.
続けていきましょうはい
So let's go on to the next portion of the video.
はい
All right, question here.
まあ
Yeah, so with the spiritual pressure.
So there's a 3-stage attack that's being parried here by
こ
Akira.
れはただの防御じゃない
Is that a new defensive technique or something more?
手段で、これ我々フローガードっていう。
This is a new defensive method that we've implemented for the game we're calling flow
そう
guard.
ですね。まあ防御そうですね。ガードとはまた別の。そうガードってやっ
It's
ぱり
different from guarding.
でもそれでもやっぱり防御するときいなしたりとか、そうさばいたりっていうところも表現としてあると思うので、まあそうい
We
った
wanted to have that deflection
実装してます。
part of the guarding included in the game
フロ
system.
ーガードをやった時のガードはメリットがあるっていうふうにしてます
So there's going to be a benefit to using this flow guard system and deflecting the opponent's attacks.
ですけど現代ではまあ通常のガードよりメリットがある
And you should know that it has there's a benefit to doing and it provides an advantage to the defender.
システムで関わってくる新しいガードっていう感
And
じ
it's a new guard system that the players can take
やっぱ
advantage.
いろんな動きあると思うんですけど
And when you think about pursuing realism within the
バラ
game,
ンス要素とか
but then you also have to link that into the balance aspect of the defensive system, that sounds really, really hard to make.
そうそうですね。いろんなこうバーチャファイターの細かいシステムに関わってくるんで。
It has to do with a lot of the new, Virtua Fighter like detailed systems. So it can be very stressful or fretful as a developer.
でもかっこよくしながらまあ
But we have to make that as cool as possible and make that true to the Virtua Fighter series.
苦労しながら
And that involves a lot of like stress and fretfulness on the development team's side.
見てるだけで
But yeah, looks amazing just looking at it.
続いていきましょうかはい
All right, let's go on to the next part of the video.
はい
Okay, next question.
はいはいお願いします
赤くなってるじゃないですか
はい
ここで、そうですね。ここは。
So I'm seeing an effect on Stella's face here.
ここからさらにちょっと先行くと、
はい
実際にこのすごいエフェクトがかかって。
So you see more effects coming on Stella's face like directly after this.
はい
Let's watch a little bit more.
ここまでこの
Okay, let's stop here.
もうちょっとかもうちょっと
After days.
Keep going. A little bit more.
はい
Ooh.
これは我々がブレイクアンドラッシュっていう。
So this is Break and Rush, a system that we've introduced in this
ダ
game.
メージが入るっていうシステムを
And there are damage that accumulates in parts of the
一
body.
定のダメージが入ると
And when there's a certain amount of damage that accumulates to that part of the body, you go into a break state.
そういったシステムを今回
And that's the system that we're putting into this new title. And that's what you see here.
まあボディとか足とかまあ
The body, legs, head, 3 different parts of the body, which damage accumulates
や
to.
っぱりバーチャーファイターって面白いゲームだと思うんですけど、
Now, Virtua Fighter is, of course, a fun game.
があると思うんですよね。普通のまあ 2D 格闘ゲームだったら例えばゲージ貯めてコンボをするとか
But with 2D games, if you look at it, you save up on your gauge, then use that for supers, etc. Virtua Fighter didn't have that.
だと何していいかあんまりわからないな。
And so I think that, players think like, okay, what should I do like in this game?
割とこう直感的にわかりやすいチャン
Rider?
We wanted to give them like a really easy to understand
slap.
chance that they can take advantage
ところ
of.
をまあ表現したいなってのも合わせて、
And that was the ambition here.
深くするっていうところでその部位にダメージが入る。
And that's why we chose to do a portion of the body based damage system, which we're calling Break and Rush.
やってみるっていうのは
Okay.
And this is also a source of damage.
ラウンドをまたいでもダメージが消える
So that damage doesn't go away in the next round. So that damage stays between rounds.
ある程
Oh,
度
really?
生えてるんだけど、まあ最終的にはそのラウンド
So the damage, the player manages to hold out against it, but the damage is accumulating. So it gets more strategically easy to break an opponent as the rounds go by.
おー入るんですね
So you can
フ
see.
ローガードはさっきのフローガードはこのブレイクラウンドアッシュとまあちょっと組み合わせてうまくそこを
So
さばける
it's really important to utilize the flow guard with the break and rush system in order to gain an advantage against your opponent.
ありがとうございます
はい
Thank you so much.
続けていきましょうか。はい。
Let's keep going.
そうここなんかねなんかじゃあステラこいつはなんか
Okay, now we're
アンドロイドなのか
knocking Stella down. There's a lot of speculation that Stella is a android.
やっぱあでこの辺かなあ
これ
Ooh, 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 piece of
Wait, hold on. I
ooh.
got a question.
崩れてるん
Yeah.
ですけど
It looks like they've.
ちょっと戻せますかねこれはい最初の
It looks like
はい
Akira
こ
has
の
been
蹴りのところぐらいまで戻してもらえると
knocked into a state here.
ここちょっと
It's collapsing.
めっちゃゆっくり戻ってますけど
さあこの
Dang.
これですこっから
Okay, right here.
ここから
ここからですね
このハイアングル
Starts from
気味
here.
のアッパーキック
So we have a high angle upper
浮く
kick.
ことなくコンボが
そうです
So
ね
then the combo continues from there, correct?
これはですね我々がスタナー、打撃
We're calling this a
スタナー
stunner.
っていうのをつけてましてでコンボはスタンコンボって名前なんですけど
And the combos are called stun
コンボっ
combos.
てやっぱり結構重要な要素で
And this is a very important part of the battle
そ
system.
こで、今までは空中コンボがあったんですけど、その辺の表現も
So there were previously aerial combos in the Virtua Fighter series.
浮かないコンボって言いますか
And this is a combo that doesn't float the opponent, but you can connect a combo directly after it.
はいまあやっぱコンボシステムもまあバーチャってやっぱりさっきも武田の方からあったんですけど
So the combo system in the Virtua Fighter
いっ
series.
ぱい与えたいっていう
So you want to give a lot of damage to the opponent,
浮
correct?
かす技が必要
But you also, to do that, you have to float the opponent and juggle them.
それもちょっとやっぱり分かりづらいだろう
But I felt that was kind of difficult to understand as a player
2D 格ゲーから入ってた世代
because I came in from 2D fighting games.
要は簡単に言うとどのゲームも大体飛び込みからなんかこうつなげて
So in those games, you jump in, you do a
そういう
combo,
イメージがあると思う
and then you do a combo from there.
そういうのはやっぱりないので
But in VF, like you didn't have
まあ
that.
新しい形で表現した
So we wanted to give something new to connect a
あんまり
combo
やっぱり
to.
こう海外のユーザーの方はよくジャグリングって言ってるんです
So overseas users typically refer to it as juggling.
でやっぱバーチャファイターってやっぱリアリティが大事なんで
But with Virtua Fighter, reality is very important.
まあ地上戦がつながって
So we wanted to have the ground-based combos connect to give it something that was a little bit more realistic.
Okay.
And when we thought about that, it led us to this concept which we're calling stunner.
まあ分かりやすいだろうな
Then it would be very easy for the players playing to understand.
バランス取っていこうという
And then we could also, build that into the game system and have it balanced.
そのリアリティとそのゲームとしての面白さっていうののうまくバランスを取っていこう
It seems really difficult to, balance that realism and then also like the in-game like balance aspects as well. And that was something that we had to think about constantly as we were developing the game. How do we build this into the system?
リアルな格闘を作りたいわけではないんですよね
It's not that we want to create like just real, K1 based fighting,
や
etc.
っぱりゲームなんで
It's a game.
ちょっと跳ねた要素は必要なんで
So we have to have some elements that are a little bit crazy, a little bit outlandish. So I'm not really into MMA myself.
映画とかエンターテインメントとかで
We
も
wanted an entertainment aspect to it.
やっぱ人間がやってるようなかっこよさみたいなところ
But we
を
also wanted a cool aspect that a person is actually playing it.
思うんで
And that's something we needed for Virtua Fighter.
でだけどやっぱりバーチャファイターのなんかその良くないところ、まあ、やっぱり分かりづらい
And one of the
入りづらいところ
Problems that was, with classic Virtua Fighter that was a little bit difficult to understand.
ただやっぱり深い部分がすごく多くて
So there's so many deep systems within classic Virtua Fighter. And then also balancing those elements is the most challenging portion.
僕らのイメージとしてはできてまあなんか方向性としてはだんだんできてきたかな
And our image, like the image that we're building this battle system to, is slowly coalescing with these elements that we're building.
ありがとうございます
Thank you so much for your
じゃあ行きま
comments.
しょうか
All right, moving on to the next portion.
Oh.
この蹴りかっこ こいいですよ
Wow.
ね。ただ好きなんです
This kick looks really cool, right?
この投げかっこいいですね。
Also, the throw looks cool as well.
きた
Okay. Question.
ーこれは
これは
What about this?
質問するまでもないというか
I don't think there's anything to even ask here. You tell me.
呼んでる演出なんですけど、
Yeah, so we're calling this
バッターファイターってこう痛さというか。
signature cuts, and we wanted to provide some pain in the Virtua Fighter series because that's not something we haven't had up at this point.
今回ちょっと例として顔をこうやってドアップに
And you can see the close up on the face
Make that boy lose a
and
tooth.
the damage expressions that we're showing here. And Takeda-san was commenting on it as well.
やっぱりまあバーチャー1の時もありましたけど、
With Virtua Fighter 1,
よくやってたんで、その時にやっぱりこう
I was playing it at the
バ
time,
ーチャーはやっぱり最初の頃やっぱり SE で
and the sound
や
effects
った時にあ痛い
at the time,
自然とこう痛い痛いみたいな
it,
声が漏れ
it,
ちゃ
it
う
felt
ん
like,
で
at the time that those sound effects, like, oh, I'm getting hit, it hurts.
感じなかった部分だった
And that's something I didn't really feel in 2D fighting
なんか
games.
そのまあそれもやっぱりリアリティの一種かな
And that's one
と思って
type of reality.
そのやっぱり実際にフィニッシュした時に痛みとか
So when you get finished by your opponent, I wanted to have that sense of pain included here.
まあなんでやっぱりバーチャファイターらしさみたいなところ
And I think that's also an element of Virtua Fighter, or, you know, a Virtua Fighter-esque element.
あとやっぱバーチャファイターってどうしても地味って言われるんですよ
And Virtua Fighter was always previously described as a somewhat plain fighting games. And we didn't want to put in like super combos, like we thought that was like different from the series legacy. So we wanted some kind of finish to put in there at the end of the round. And we created all kinds of different variations for it. And we wanted that fun and that variation that you can see here. But it's also very easy to understand for the player that they're getting hit and you're getting knocked out, etc. And also like the parts of the body that accumulate damage. These are parts that players can, you know, have fun with and say like, oh, I want to attack this part because it'll give me an advantage here. And that's why we called this portion a signature cut.
鍵でフィニッシュ出ますけど
And you can see the really flashy finish here. And of course, you're not just going to get kicked in the face every time, right? There's other kind of finishing moves. Yes.
いろんな表現が
Yes, there are.
期待できると
And we can look forward to different animations. And yes, it depends on how much the dev team can put the effort into it. But yes, sounds. We have to get through a lot of technical challenges there, but it's a new try for us. But Virtua Fighter has been, you know, around for 30 years, and we've got different technology that we've associated with it. But with the technology of today, there's things that we can show that we weren't able to do previously. But we're going to include these as these scenes, as KO scenes, you know, using that technology.
ありがとうございます
Thank you so much. And now we're getting towards the end.
はい、ありがとうございます。はい、ありがとうございました。
Thank you so much.
バトルの新要素解説ありがとうございました。
Thank you for outlining the features of the battle
皆様
system.
も非常に興味深い話が
It was extremely interesting to me.
聞けたのではないでしょうか。はい、ではですね、続きまして武田さん改めてです
So
ね
let's keep going. Takeda-san, thank you for outlining
新しいバトルについて
the
重要なポイントを
battle
まと
features.
め
You got a
Can you
clean
give us
shirt.
a rundown of the new features of the
That
battle
shirt
system?
hard.
の方から改めて解説したい
I
と思い
got
ます
that.
Okay, I'd like to give you a breakdown here.
まず今回ちょっと3点に絞って
Low guard.
説明したい
Right,
んです
it's
けども
I'd like
Breaking
to
rush.
focus on 3 systems. First, we have flow guard. As we just explained, this is a new defensive system designed for stylish movement, and it's connected to the part damage system.
Kind of looks like the Street Fighter
And
6
comparing
parry.
it to the previous system in classic Virtua Fighter, there's a difference in the offensive and defensive aspects that are included. Now we have break and rush, and that involves damage accumulating on specific parts of the body, allowing them to be broken. Once broken, it creates an opportunity for the attacker, and damage to parts of the body persists across rounds. And that's one way you can include it in gameplay when you're playing. Moving on to the next. And now we have stunners and stun combos. This is a new combo system derived from stunner attacks. and it's designed to be intuitive for beginners while maintaining realistic movement. Now, traditional combos will still exist, but they'll be a little bit less common.
Really? So there's
And
not
the
going to be as
stunners
much
will
like
be sort
floating?
of like the main aspect of
juggling.
comboing in the game.
システムメインでこっちが中心になっていくってみたいな感じだと捉えていただけるといいかなと思い
And
ます
that will be the center of the gameplay
竹
battle
田さん
system.
革新的なバトルの3つのポイントありがとうございました。
Thanks for outlining the 3 innovative features there. Next, we want to get to some questions that have been submitted in advance by players for the development team.
Oh.
We got a lot of different questions that came in here. I'd like to get answers from Yamada-san and Takeda-san here if possible. Okay, I'll read the question now. First question is, it's a little long.
お願いします
I'm going to read it.
With recent fighting games, many now offer simplified
Control schemes alongside traditional ones, allowing players to switch modes. Is there a possibility that Virtua Fighter could also incorporate a system that caters to both traditional players and newcomers?
Not the
Personally,
simple
I'd like to
mode.
see a mode where players can guard by pushing the stick backward, making it easier for players from other fighting games to enjoy VF.
まあ結構やっぱりそのまあもともと最初の質問で言うともうこれ絶対必要
Okay, getting back to the first question,
やりやすい操作とか
we want to make the controls as easy as possible.
バーチャファイターってただ
So,
元々
Virtua Fighter?
やりやすいゲームなんですよ
Virtua Fighter is a very easy game to play. There's only 3 buttons. It has a control stick.
I was just going to say,
And that's
Virtua
why it
Fighter
was
is
very
very
popular in the
easy
arcade.
to start playing. You just got like a couple buttons you press.
あれだから遊びやすいんで
But that's really easy to play in an arcade game cabinet. But when you're playing at home, it's a little bit different.
動きとか斜めに下を2
Like, trying to move diagonally and stuff, that can be difficult when you're playing at home.
そこは見直す必要があります
So we had to update that.
まずパッド前提で
So we're going to build the gameplay system assuming pad usage. And that's something that we're thinking while we're developing it.
まずそれで
That's the first thing I want to say. Now, the second, holding back to guard. What do you think about that? Would that make you happy if that was in?
バーチャーはやっぱりガードが
But Virtua Fighter, I feel like it has to have a guard button.
人は多いと思います
But I think there's a lot of people that think this way.
他のゲームやっぱ軒並み
Other games have a lot of like holding back to guard.
そうに配慮する
When you think about that,
取り入れることできたら
maybe it would be a good thing to have for players.
要はでも格闘ゲームだったら
But for fighting games,
I don't know.
there's a lot of holding back to guard.
ああ確かにそうですね
だから他のゲームってボタンガードが多いんですよ。まあ
I feel like there's other games that you actually have to hold guard to, to block. Maybe not fighting games necessarily.
プレイヤーさんに遊んでもらいたいから
So we want to have as many people playing the game as possible. So maybe having it as an option there is a possibility in the future.
答えてるのはふんわりしてます。
It's a little bit of a vague answer, but we'll think on it.
言っていいですかね。行きましょう。
Okay, moving on to the next question.
はい。続いての質問です。ニューバーチャファイターの追いかけるリアルとは
What
何です
does
か
real mean in the context of the new Virtua Fighter? Also, what do you think people are seeking from the new Virtua Fighter, and how does the team plan to push forward to meet those expectations? Can you give us a simple answer?
見てもらった通りだと
It's basically what you just saw in the video.
一言で答えられないから
It's not something I can just respond in one word here.
大事なにしてるものは映像から読み取ってもらいたいなと思って作って
So the most important elements are included in that trailer, so you can see everything and you can analyze everything that we've included in that trailer.
僕からはですねまあ
I've got a question here.
どうしようかな
Which one should I go
やっ
with?
ぱりバーチャファイターって僕のイメージですけど2の時にもう社会現象になるぐらい
So with Virtua Fighter 2, it was like a whole social phenomenon.
本当にそうなんですよ
30年前
誰も分かってくれないですからね若い人
But people don't really remember that history anymore.
今回やっぱりニュープロジェクトってい
But
う
with
こと
a
で
new project,
またさらに覇権を握っていこうと
are you trying to reclaim VF's leading position in the FGC?
なんかお話でき
From
たら
that perspective, can you share your thoughts?
まあ僕的には
For me,
要は格闘ゲームって枠を飛び越えたいなと思ってます
if anything, I want to like go over the framework of fighting games,
格闘ゲームの
and that's something that's important for like creating a social phenomenon.
もっと飛び越えた
We want to go further beyond fighting games.
だからやっぱり当然その格闘ゲームだから
At the end of the game, it is a fighting game.
大事だし
We have to take care of those really important gameplay elements.
その枠を超えてあんますげえなって思う
For us, we really want to like overcome those limitations.
考 えてる。
That's my personal ambition.
なるほど。まあなんか
ふんわりふんわりした答えですけど。
It's a little bit of a
ゲ
vague
ーム
response.
作り以外のところの
It sounds like you're thinking about things even beyond just like fighting game, how to build a fighting game.
一番はねゲームが楽しいことだと思うんです
But I think the most important part is that the game itself is
世界
fun.
中のみんなに遊んでもらえる。
And that's something that, you know, we want people around the world to play and engage
ゲー
with.
ムが面白いっていうのをやっぱり今回俺たち
And that fun factor
という感じで見せられたらいいかな。
is the part that we want to continue showing off as we go forward.
かなり伝わったんじゃないかなと思いますけどね。
And I think we could really see that from the video that we've seen so far. Thanks so much for that response.
今はまだ答えにくい質問にも特別
It
に
might have been a very
答えてくださり
difficult question to
ありがとうござい
answer,
ます
so but we appreciate that
ちょっ
answer.
と時間がね
別の場所とかでコミュニディスコ
Yeah.
ードとかでね
We want to communicate more on the Discord later on, but we're out of time on stage here, so
Dang, already?
so let's just have a last message from everybody here.
そうですね。今回
From Tokyo.
お二人にいろいろ教えていただいて。
So it's great to have all the information from you too. I think it's, you know, we've learned a lot more, you know, through this session.
発売が楽しみです。
I'm just waiting for the game to go on sale.
よろしくお願いします。
We're looking forward to it, so thanks so much.
武田さんお願いします
Okay,
Oh,
Takeda-san.
shoot.
今回バトルの解説しましたけど
So we talked about the battle system today,
まあやっぱりずっと
Do they at least got a little bit more
but
gameplay
I've
for us?
always been building Virtua Fighter.
That's what I've
So
been
we really
thinking
want
here
this
for.
to be something that can reach new players,
ユーザーさんも楽しめる
but we also want it to be something that classic Virtua Fighter players can engage with and have fun with. So that's what we're aiming for and developing right now. So please stay tuned.
最後に
A little bit more gameplay, please.
え
Come on.
先ほどね
山田さん
からのご質問
And we had the question from Tokeda-san,
今までで結構細かいバトルの仕組みとかをいろいろ話して
and there were all
いただい
these,
て
you know,
じゃあ俺は
detailed
どういう
battle
ことをするんだ
system
みたいな
elements.
もうユー
What
ザー
kind
の
of
皆
thing
さ
are
ん
you
が
trying to make right
想像
now?
できない状態かなっていうふうに思うんですよ
And users, I think, were not clear on that.
はやっぱり新しいバーチャファイターはチャレンジングなものでありたい
We wanted to make something that's very challenging as a new Virtua Fighter.
まあまたちょっと次の発表につながるような映像
So this is going to connect up until the
まあ
next
それちょっとご覧
reveal.
いただきたいなと思っ
But
てますじゃあ
I've actually brought that with me. So how about we take a look at a new video? Can we
Yes!
cue that video?
Yes! Let's go! Dang, I wish I could put it in 4K. The max is 1080. Oh, this that new guy that they showed. It was like a glimpse of another like preview. Whoa, new guy. I don't know who this is. It might just be a returning character, just remade.
サプライズ映像来ました
Got a little bit of a surprise video
こ
there.
れだけといえばこれだけなんです
That's all we can show you for today, though.
What?
いかがですかちょっと今のを見て
What do you think, Tokido?
後編で見たかったですね。
Yeah,
どういう風に。
I need to see more from there
次ぐらいのね皆さんに見せるときにはじゃあどうな今の
for the next opportunity to show
わ
some
かるようなものを用意したい
They could at least show
new
like
gameplay.
two
I'll
people and
definitely show
one
it
of them
off.
start to throw a
But this
punch
is just a
before
little
it
tease for
cuts.
today.
以上を
God
もちまして
dang, man.
ニューバーチャファイタープロジェクト
And that's it for the new Virtua Fighter project stage here at TGS. Yamada-san, Takeda-san, Tokida-san, thank you so much for your stage presence today. And that's the
Okay.
new Virtua Fighter project.
That was good.
And now
It was good, but I wanted to see
It's
more.
just a matter of
I like that they
learning more
explained
about the project as we go forward.
the gameplay mechanics
So
and all
please
that.
stay
It's pretty
tuned to all the
decent.
information that Sega will be broadcasting. So let's keep having fun with everybody at the TGS stage today.
Dang, bro. Yeah, not a bad little showcase they did, but dang, I really wanted to see more. I wanted to see a second battle. Like a battle at least like half as much as we saw with Akira and Stella. But okay. You can take that for now.